Good morning. Has everyone ever been running around doing errands with their parents or grandparents and they pull out their handy dandy checkbook to pay for every little thing? You might wonder you might wonder why they still choose to use old checks instead of just simply using a cash or card. Checks are looked at as an overcomplicated way for paying for things, but today I'm going to teach you step by step how easy it is to write a check, when you should use checks, and the benefits you'll get from knowing how to write a check in the future. Checking on to our first point, learning how to write a check is very simple. According to Huntington.com, there are 6 simple steps to learning how to write a check. The first step is once you find your check, you'll go to the top right corner. You'll find these little lines up here. You'll write the date that you're writing the check up there in that format. After you move on from writing the check, you'll go to the pay to the order of line. That is where you write the recipient of the check. For example, in this one, it says electric company because you're going to pay your electric bill. After you moved on from the pay to the order line, you go to the box to the right of it. That is where you write the amount you want to write the check for, but you write it in number form. You write it in number form because after you write that, you go to the line right under the pay to the order line, and that's where you write the amount you want to pay the check in word form. Once you've done that, you move on to the bottom of the check. At the bottom of the check, there are 2 lines. The first line is the line on the left, and that is the memo. For example, in this one, like I said, they're writing it for the electric bill, so they just put July electric bill in the memo line. After you moved on from the memo is when you finally finish up the check and you finish it with a signature. Now that you know how easy it is to write a check, we can move on to the correct times that you should use the checks. Checks are used for many different reasons. They can be used for things such as paying people for work, gifting someone money, or simply just buying things. According to CheckCity.com, checks are safer for many reasons, and the first being that they are safer to mail. Whether you're mailing in a payment or a gift, mailing in a package full of a whole bunch of cash is extremely obvious for anyone who it might get in the wrong hands to. You can easily just put in a check worth the exact same amount, and it has little to no chance of being stolen, because even if a check is stolen, the thief cannot do anything with it because they are not the recipient on the check. On the brighter side of why you should use checks, a lot of smaller businesses can only accept checks because they can't afford the high-end technology or the expensive card readers. Using checks is the safest and best way for both you and the business to do business. Yeah, I don't. Oh, shoot. Using checks is a safer and better option, and knowing how to write checks and when to use them will greatly benefit you in the future. Since we're all still in high school, most of us haven't had to write checks yet, but that doesn't mean that the time won't come in the future. As we're getting older, we're starting to notice more expenses already, like gas, groceries, maybe bills, etc. Knowing how to write a check at that time will be extremely beneficial to you. More and more people are stuck wondering, or according to the Washington Post, more and more people are stuck wondering the question, how to write a check. Over the last 10 years, the question has been asked 5 times more. Checks may seem like they're a dying thing, but they're obviously very active throughout the country still. And 18.3 billion checks are still being written per year in just the United States alone. It is important to properly learn how to write your checks so you'll never have to worry about any financial accidents or anything that could happen from writing it wrong in the future. Okay. As we wrap up, I hope you guys learned easily how you can write a check step by step, the proper times that you should use checks, and the benefits that you'll get from learning how to write checks. Thank you all for listening.